If it doesn't snow, I'll go out. If it doesn't snow, I'll go out. I have a lot of experience. I have a lot of experience. I certainly cried when my father died. I certainly cried when my father died. The legacy of their success will always be remembered. The legacy of their success will always be remembered. The financial report has been made public. The financial report has been made public. We haven't been better for 10 years. We haven't been better for 10 years. Will you close after a weekend? Will you close after a weekend? Michael Jordan is a legendary basketball player. Michael Jordan is a legendary basketball player. Can you pick me up from the airport? Can you pick me up from the airport? We may not be able to save last year. We may not be able to save last year. Do you want me to stay? Do you want me to stay? Won't they listen? Won't they listen? Sorry for the complete absence of flavor. Sorry for the complete absence of flavor. Was he on horseback? Was he on horseback? He stayed in the hospital for a week after the car accident. He stayed in the hospital for a week after the car accident. Was the cashier his half-brother? Was the cashier his half-brother? I know it. I know it. He had his computer formatted by a technician. He had his computer formatted by a technician. I will arrive at the airport at 8 p.m. I will arrive at the airport at 8 p.m. May I borrow your pen, please? May I borrow your pen, please? If you are not careful, you may lose more than you invested. If you are not careful, you may lose more than you invested. I could feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. I could feel the warmth of the sun on my skin. Can we schedule a conference call to discuss this further? Can we schedule a conference call to discuss this further? Can I get some help carrying these foods? Can I get some help carrying these foods? One, I don't want to lose my love to look good. One, I don't want to lose my love to look good. I just want you to be careful. I just want you to be careful. Radiate, radiate. Hot sausages. Hot sausages. Regularly, regularly. Let me know if you want to go for a walk. Let me know if you want to go for a walk. The government had the building inspected for safety. The government had the building inspected for safety. The disease spread rapidly and affected many people in the community. The disease spread rapidly and affected many people in the community. To say, your cousins are environmentalists. Your cousins are environmentalists. Her mother-in-law was an intensive care specialist. Her mother-in-law was an intensive care specialist. Should he live? Should he live? It's 3 o'clock today. It's 3 o'clock today. The bus stop is across the street. The bus stop is across the street. His daughter is a producer. His daughter is a producer. Our half-brother was an astronomer. Our half-brother was an astronomer. We are not mayor now. We are not mayor now. They worked hard so they achieved their goals. They worked hard so they achieved their goals. He looks excited for the trip. He looks excited for the trip. Was your grandfather a guide? Was your grandfather a guide? He wrote a letter to his family to express his gratitude. He wrote a letter to his family to express his gratitude. Should not be approached immediately. Should not be approached immediately. We must respect the wishes of the deceased. We must respect the wishes of the deceased. From. We were not rarely sheriffs. We were not rarely sheriffs. Were they jockeys next year? Were they jockeys next year? I wish I hadn't sold his old car. I wish I hadn't sold his old car. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. I don't want to make a fool of myself by drinking too much. I can teach every year. I can teach every year. His cousins are mechanics. His cousins are mechanics. Would not age every year. Would not age every year. And I didn't kick this rock. And I didn't kick this rock. We should work on our communication skills to avoid misunderstandings. We should work on our communication skills to avoid misunderstandings. We have been living in this house since 2010. We have been living in this house since 2010. The sun was shining brightly all day, but then it started to rain heavily. The sun was shining brightly all day, but then it started to rain heavily. I asked him to start as soon as possible. I asked him to start as soon as possible. Your grandpa is the babysitter. Your grandpa is the babysitter. He has to study for the exam. He has to study for the exam. He could finance it right away. He could finance it right away. If you had called me, I would have come to help you. If you had called me, I would have come to help you. Not proven after a day? Not proven after a day? Are they geologists? Are they geologists? We will travel to France next week. We will travel to France next week. Our decor is stylish and modern. Our decor is stylish and modern. Have you ever been skydiving? Have you ever been skydiving? He studies for his exams every night. He studies for his exams every night. The children were playing with their toys in the playroom. The children were playing with their toys in the playroom. Could you pass me a pen, please? Could you pass me a pen, please? I will finish this meeting and after that I will go home. I will finish this meeting and after that I will go home. I like to relax at home when I'm done. I like to relax at home when I'm done. He decided to quit smoking. He decided to quit smoking. His grandson was an optician. His grandson was an optician. He cooked dinner for his family. He cooked dinner for his family. Change location by clicking the map. Change location by clicking the map. Can you answer? Can you answer? She managed to bake a delicious cake. She managed to bake a delicious cake. I have reservations about the safety of the amusement park. I have reservations about the safety of the amusement park. Beneficiary. Beneficiary. I will work today. I will work today. He couldn't let it. He couldn't let it. Can you provide the necessary support? Can you provide the necessary support? I need to change the light bulbs in the kitchen. I need to change the light bulbs in the kitchen. Could you feed? Could you feed? The car has been running for 5 hours. The car has been running for 5 hours. Could you please let me know if there is any change in your health history? Could you please let me know if there is any change in your health history? He visited friends in another state. He visited friends in another state. These tickets are too many. These tickets are too many. Yesterday. Yesterday. Is his wife a cop? Is his wife a cop? She taught English for 2 years in Japan. She taught English for 2 years in Japan. Can I have your email address, please? Can I have your email address, please? Eliminate dependency on one person for specific tasks. Eliminate dependency on one person for specific tasks. It is important to practice regularly. It is important to practice regularly. When the movie is over, I will be sitting in this seat for 2 hours. When the movie is over, I will be sitting in this seat for 2 hours. I can go shopping for new clothes. I can go shopping for new clothes. It has 2 notebooks on it. It has 2 notebooks on it. 1 minute. I will go and check. 1 minute. I will go and check. I'm in the room on the left. I'm in the room on the left. I am in pain. I am in pain. To close. To close. I couldn't leave at dusk. I couldn't leave at dusk. How much money do you have? How much money do you have? I am going home. I am going home. He was a sailor at dusk. He was a sailor at dusk. You don't know my talent. You don't know my talent. He was supposed to visit his friend in the hospital. He was supposed to visit his friend in the hospital. Helmet. Helmet. You should like. You should like. Do they need to guess? Do they need to guess? We won't like it. We won't like it. Will I not be connecting? Will I not be connecting? Can you help Mary? Can you help Mary? The flowers were arranged in a vase. The flowers were arranged in a vase. Outside the campaign. Outside the campaign. The snow is melting. The snow is melting. Is he rarely a teacher? Is he rarely a teacher? Will print every year. Will print every year. The picture was greatly appreciated by the visitors. The picture was greatly appreciated by the visitors. Didn't he make a sound before? Didn't he make a sound before? They start their vacation next Friday. They start their vacation next Friday. By this time next week I will have finished my exams. By this time next week I will have finished my exams. Can't get a job right away? Can't get a job right away? To trust. To trust. Death toll. Death toll. Why did you leave early? Asked. Why did you leave early? Asked. Don't touch 10 years. Don't touch 10 years. He wishes he could play the piano. He wishes he could play the piano. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Do you have any medical conditions? Do you have any medical conditions? I was late because I missed the bus. I was late because I missed the bus. Today the weather is colder than yesterday. Today the weather is colder than yesterday. We will invest at night. We will invest at night. I'm finishing my project by the end of the week. I'm finishing my project by the end of the week. I wish I hadn't lost your phone. I wish I hadn't lost your phone. We had a great time at the party, they said. We had a great time at the party, they said. Today is the year of death of the founder of our country. Today is the year of death of the founder of our country. These people are in the park. These people are in the park. They shop at the mall. They shop at the mall. Is her stepdad a manicurist? Is her stepdad a manicurist? Wasn't I chosen? Wasn't I chosen? If I had known about the sale, I would have bought new clothes. If I had known about the sale, I would have bought new clothes. We will try to do our best. We will try to do our best. I have to go home. I have to go home. Where are you going? Where are you going? Will they tell you right away? Will they tell you right away? They are late for the train. They are late for the train. Please avoid strenuous activities for the next few weeks. Please avoid strenuous activities for the next few weeks. Is your husband a hunter? Is your husband a hunter? This image is very important to me. This image is very important to me. Was your aunt a rower? Was your aunt a rower? Where can I get this? Where can I get this? Rude. Rude. I was playing football when you came. I was playing football when you came. Forbidden. Forbidden. The problem requires a creative solution. The problem requires a creative solution. Sometimes we will not forget. Sometimes we will not forget. If it's cold, I won't go out. If it's cold, I won't go out. Regular exercise has many benefits. Regular exercise has many benefits. After 3 nights, we wouldn't be defending. After 3 nights, we wouldn't be defending. He won't forget your birthday, will he? He won't forget your birthday, will he? Maybe you should go home and clean up. Maybe you should go home and clean up. We have. You are responsible. You are responsible. I need to buy a new car. I need to buy a new car. I drive to work at 8 a.m. I drive to work at 8 a.m. Other plans. Other plans. This week is the second week of the sprint. This week is the second week of the sprint. He becomes more skilled at solving puzzles. He becomes more skilled at solving puzzles. I need to wash my car. I need to wash my car. They usually have lunch in the office cafeteria. They usually have lunch in the office cafeteria. Didn't he cook for 15 days? Didn't he cook for 15 days? Finally, after months of hard work, I was able to finish writing my book. Finally, after months of hard work, I was able to finish writing my book. I know. They adopted a stray cat from the shelter. They adopted a stray cat from the shelter. Your grandparents are sailors. Your grandparents are sailors. Can you ever settle down? Can you ever settle down? Can I help with anything? Can I help with anything? Right at noon? Right at noon? Time interval. Time interval. Birds sing very well. Birds sing very well. I have a lot of courage. I have a lot of courage. You often go to the movies. You often go to the movies. Sometimes a urologist. Sometimes a urologist. Thought. I bent down and tried to touch my toes, but I couldn't quite reach them. I bent down and tried to touch my toes, but I couldn't quite reach them. He has no money. He has no money. He is not visiting. He is not visiting. I want to see your sister. I want to see your sister. They can't do plumbing at sunset. They can't do plumbing at sunset. I go to the market to buy something to eat for my friends. I go to the market to buy something to eat for my friends. I started working for this company a year ago. I started working for this company a year ago. I cook every evening. I cook every evening. I understand your concern. I understand your concern. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. At least. Sometimes he did. Sometimes he did. Aren't you normally supposed to be a sportscaster? Aren't you normally supposed to be a sportscaster? Is our sister an apprentice? Is our sister an apprentice? They were singing karaoke at the party. They were singing karaoke at the party. We shouldn't make a deal after 3 p.m. We shouldn't make a deal after 3 p.m. With. They are not connecting. They are not connecting. He's shouting 1 minute ago. He's shouting 1 minute ago. Do you sometimes become a civil engineer? Do you sometimes become a civil engineer? I will also work. I will also work. We've been friends since high school. We've been friends since high school. Consistency is the key to success in any endeavor. Consistency is the key to success in any endeavor. Can we live from time to time? Can we live from time to time? If he performs well, he will be promoted. If he performs well, he will be promoted. His wife is a stylist. His wife is a stylist. Their husbands were actors. Their husbands were actors. The house they bought is near the beach. The house they bought is near the beach. Your half-brother Dean? Your half-brother Dean? The train leaves at 11 a.m. The train leaves at 11 a.m. Will they provide? Will they provide? His son is a marketer. His son is a marketer. They are playing basketball in the park. They are playing basketball in the park. Will I finalize? Will I finalize? You need to sleep more, said the doctor. You need to sleep more, said the doctor. Then it shouldn't help. Then it shouldn't help. I've been listening to music for 20 hours. I've been listening to music for 20 hours. Fun. Fun. I just made a mistake in testing. I just made a mistake in testing. Does it open after 1 minute? Does it open after 1 minute? I like to drink coffee in the morning. I like to drink coffee in the morning. I was happy yesterday. I was happy yesterday. They trained every day to win the competition. They trained every day to win the competition. We will not improve on a weekly basis. We will not improve on a weekly basis. Should I teach at night? Should I teach at night? The boy, lost in the crowd, began to cry. The boy, lost in the crowd, began to cry. You should never do a shopping assistant. You should never do a shopping assistant. The train leaves at 9. The train leaves at 9. I'm not curious, I'm just curious. I'm not curious, I'm just curious. Do they eat at dusk? Do they eat at dusk? Can you lend me some money? Can you lend me some money? It's our turn. It's our turn. He is on the phone. He is on the phone. Can't we calculate? Can't we calculate? Did it support the day before? Did it support the day before? Our wife was a cardiologist. Our wife was a cardiologist. He enjoys hiking and camping in the mountains. He enjoys hiking and camping in the mountains. He has to finish his project before the deadline. He has to finish his project before the deadline. I can't train often. I can't train often. Can we talk after you and I make plans? Can we talk after you and I make plans? I couldn't. I couldn't. It could be. It could be. White is the color of the abdomen. White is the color of the abdomen. The situation is beyond the scope of my understanding. The situation is beyond the scope of my understanding. They told us, we have decided to move. They told us, we have decided to move. He could find a job in the city. He could find a job in the city. She still needs to do laundry. She still needs to do laundry. Shouldn't they improve every year? Shouldn't they improve every year? He was driving his car when he saw a deer on the road. He was driving his car when he saw a deer on the road. Can you talk soon? Can you talk soon? Don't we throw tiles every week? Don't we throw tiles every week? After 1 week they should do gymnastics. After 1 week they should do gymnastics. Will he start a war? Will he start a war? These are my pet's toys. These are my pet's toys. Stepped. Stepped. I'm sending you home. I'm sending you home. Can complain. Can complain. Is your stepson a caretaker? Is your stepson a caretaker? To leave. To leave. He was reading a book when his phone rang. He was reading a book when his phone rang. I have to go to school. I have to go to school. Didn't we matter 2 seconds ago? Didn't we matter 2 seconds ago? Can I ask? Can I ask? Art. Art. It's beyond my jurisdiction. It's beyond my jurisdiction. Seeing blood always disgusts me. Seeing blood always disgusts me. Wasn't he a watchman every year? Wasn't he a watchman every year? You didn't tell me anything about yourself. You didn't tell me anything about yourself. Despite the difficulties, they never lost their hope. Despite the difficulties, they never lost their hope. She cooked a delicious dinner for her friends. She cooked a delicious dinner for her friends. Did they practice their lines before the audition? Did they practice their lines before the audition? On the corner of Maple Street. On the corner of Maple Street. We often go swimming in the lake. We often go swimming in the lake. Politics is a popular way to gain power. Politics is a popular way to gain power. Her hair was long but cut it short. Her hair was long but cut it short. Should limit after 1 day. Should limit after 1 day. The boy with glasses is the class president. The boy with glasses is the class president. Great query. Great query. I'm going to the market to buy chips. I'm going to the market to buy chips. Will he lose every month? Will he lose every month? Is there a minimum purchase amount for credit card use? Is there a minimum purchase amount for credit card use? I will make a cake. I will make a cake. I have toothache. I have toothache. Before we begin, let's make sure we have all the necessary resources. Before we begin, let's make sure we have all the necessary resources. I will be the most successful person in the world. I will be the most successful person in the world. What would you like? What would you like? Today we feel happy. Today we feel happy. I'm going out with my friends this weekend. I'm going out with my friends this weekend. I don't pay after 4 evenings. I don't pay after 4 evenings. He goes shopping on Saturdays. He goes shopping on Saturdays. He will travel to Japan next summer. He will travel to Japan next summer. Working on. Working on. After the snowfall, they made a snowman. After the snowfall, they made a snowman. Rarely analyzed. Rarely analyzed. My relatives are architects. My relatives are architects. Who is in the chair? Who is in the chair? I have a lot in common with my best friend. I have a lot in common with my best friend. May not be a monthly governor. May not be a monthly governor. Stepdaughter's registrar. Stepdaughter's registrar. They should apologize for their behavior. They should apologize for their behavior. Does not quote later in the evening. Does not quote later in the evening. My sister took the photo. My sister took the photo. Can you turn off the lights? Can you turn off the lights? The sunset over the ocean was beautiful. The sunset over the ocean was beautiful. Important. Important. They've known each other since college. They've known each other since college. The flowers were watered by my mother. The flowers were watered by my mother. Wasn't I a songwriter 3 weeks ago? Wasn't I a songwriter 3 weeks ago? Can I return it if it's not the right size? Can I return it if it's not the right size? I can type fast on the keyboard. I can type fast on the keyboard. Wasn't he an alchemist a century ago? Wasn't he an alchemist a century ago? I'm going to the dentist at 3 o'clock today. I'm going to the dentist at 3 o'clock today. Our relatives are physicists. Our relatives are physicists. Coffee smells great. Coffee smells great. We can stop later. We can stop later. Do you benefit? Do you benefit? Do you remember the person who gave you this gift? Do you remember the person who gave you this gift? Can you play the piano? Can you play the piano? I stop at a red light and wait for the car to start. I stop at a red light and wait for the car to start. Thank you so much for your help. Thank you so much for your help. I know the boy next to your brother. I know the boy next to your brother. Is your stepdaughter a football player? Is your stepdaughter a football player? Should mention. Should mention. Could you please send me the latest version of the document? Could you please send me the latest version of the document? Trustworthy. Trustworthy. You're going to the gym later today. You're going to the gym later today. The job offer was accepted. The job offer was accepted. Can they leave now? Can they leave now? They did not eat enough vegetables in their diet. They did not eat enough vegetables in their diet. We give direction at sunrise. We give direction at sunrise. Why are we meeting? Why are we meeting? Do you climb? Do you climb? 1 day ago can be a plumber. 1 day ago can be a plumber. We went hiking in the mountains last weekend. We went hiking in the mountains last weekend. I can't believe you would do something like this, it's a disgrace. I can't believe you would do something like this, it's a disgrace. Out of reach. Out of reach. The smell of freshly baked bread filled the oven. The smell of freshly baked bread filled the oven. We can experience immediately. We can experience immediately. Is her aunt a housewife? Is her aunt a housewife? I go to the market to buy something to eat for my friends. I go to the market to buy something to eat for my friends. Eat before everyone is served. Eat before everyone is served. Can you spell your name? Can you spell your name? This time tomorrow I will be studying for my exam. This time tomorrow I will be studying for my exam. I will try to join the August sun with the atmosphere. I will try to join the August sun with the atmosphere. We play video games on the weekends. We play video games on the weekends. I supported. I supported. They love to watch horror movies. They love to watch horror movies. I think Tommy already mentioned the problems. I think Tommy already mentioned the problems. The black cat crossed the street in front of me. The black cat crossed the street in front of me. Mathematics is more difficult than English. Mathematics is more difficult than English. He has to finish his report before the meeting. He has to finish his report before the meeting. They can injure after a century. They can injure after a century. They are cheering for their team. They are cheering for their team. Should he be a locksmith at night? Should he be a locksmith at night? My stepdaughter was a financier. My stepdaughter was a financier. The supermarket sells fresh fruit and vegetables. The supermarket sells fresh fruit and vegetables. Ahead, ahead. Digest, digest. You're not immersed next year. You're not immersed next year. He will have finished reading the book by tomorrow. He will have finished reading the book by tomorrow. Does not remember. Does not remember. Our friends are coming tomorrow. Our friends are coming tomorrow. My grandfather is the caretaker. My grandfather is the caretaker. I only have one chance to do this job. I only have one chance to do this job. Can I get a rain control if the product is out of stock? Can I get a rain control if the product is out of stock? There. There. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to the gym. Forest. Forest. You lack the necessary information. You lack the necessary information. I don't notice anything in particular about it. I don't notice anything in particular about it. By the time I turn 25, I will have completed my diploma. By the time I turn 25, I will have completed my diploma. She is baking a cake. She is baking a cake. Filthy. Filthy. Should I fire the warrior at dusk? Should I fire the warrior at dusk? Won't I be retiring soon? Won't I be retiring soon? Her neighbor was a model. Her neighbor was a model. I have to limit. I have to limit. The article argues that globalization has both positive and negative effects. The article argues that globalization has both positive and negative effects. Both the employees and the company will benefit from this change. Both the employees and the company will benefit from this change. They are playing football. They are playing football. The ability to adapt to change is important. The ability to adapt to change is important. I will send it at night. I will send it at night. Stand for. Stand for. When the party is over, I will have danced for 3 hours. When the party is over, I will have danced for 3 hours. What is your dream? What is your dream? We lived in that house for 5 years. We lived in that house for 5 years. How exciting! How exciting! They won't start work until they have a plan. They won't start work until they have a plan. He goes to bed early. He goes to bed early. The sun will set at 1900 tonight. The sun will set at 1900 tonight. Worried every now and then? Worried every now and then? Did I host? Did I host? Should mention. Should mention. Should I be a surgeon in 4 centuries? Should I be a surgeon in 4 centuries? The gun is usually oiled by the officer. The gun is usually oiled by the officer. I have 2 cats. The black one is named Luna. I have 2 cats. The black one is named Luna. Can it create last year? Can it create last year? Can you be an overseer every day? Can you be an overseer every day? Wouldn't he care? Wouldn't he care? I'll take you for a follow-up scan in a few days. I'll take you for a follow-up scan in a few days. My nephew was a gardener. My nephew was a gardener. I'll kiss you if you promise to be a good boy. I'll kiss you if you promise to be a good boy. Was her neighbor a dietitian? Was her neighbor a dietitian? Can you ride a bike? Can you ride a bike? I don't want to vote. I don't want to vote. You can make it 2 seconds ago. You can make it 2 seconds ago. I have to learn everything from scratch. I have to learn everything from scratch. I will help you with your project, provided you ask nicely. I will help you with your project, provided you ask nicely. They enjoy taking photos. They enjoy taking photos. He rewarded himself with a day off. He rewarded himself with a day off. Could you please repeat what you just said? Could you please repeat what you just said? Was her husband a psychiatrist? Was her husband a psychiatrist? Ma'am, you just turned 18. Ma'am, you just turned 18. He is now a football player. He is now a football player. He wished he could see the sunset from the top of the mountain. He wished he could see the sunset from the top of the mountain. He's a 2-week trainer. He's a 2-week trainer. Reconcile. Reconcile. Aware of the decision. Aware of the decision. He will be visiting his family next weekend. He will be visiting his family next weekend. She wants to attend a yoga class. She wants to attend a yoga class. We can't usually be broken. We can't usually be broken. He has excellent communication skills. He has excellent communication skills. How can I say thank you in French? How can I say thank you in French? Before making any decision, we need to consider all the options. Before making any decision, we need to consider all the options. I saw a cow in the city. I saw a cow in the city. He is a professional athlete and trains every day. He is a professional athlete and trains every day. It would expand after 2 nights. It would expand after 2 nights. I have a pain in my head. I have a pain in my head. I need to buy some groceries from the supermarket. I need to buy some groceries from the supermarket. Can you turn off the lights before you leave? Can you turn off the lights before you leave? Special. Special. We should have bought the tickets sooner. We should have bought the tickets sooner. Do they start after 4 seconds? Do they start after 4 seconds? If you had called a plumber, the pipe wouldn't have burst. If you had called a plumber, the pipe wouldn't have burst. They'll be playing video games all night tonight. They'll be playing video games all night tonight. I don't want to lose my machine because of low prices. I don't want to lose my machine because of low prices. They are going to the movies tonight. They are going to the movies tonight. I have some questions about this assignment. I have some questions about this assignment. Why did you buy that book? Because it was recommended by a friend. Why did you buy that book? Because it was recommended by a friend. We shouldn't start often. We shouldn't start often. Rarely am I not an agent? Rarely am I not an agent? She can't dance. She can't dance. May I have a look at your newspaper, please? May I have a look at your newspaper, please? Your father was a hematologist. Your father was a hematologist. She had her hair done by a professional hairdresser. She had her hair done by a professional hairdresser. We finished the whole mission. We finished the whole mission. I don't want to lose my machine. I don't want to lose my machine. We need to meet our sales targets, the manager said. We need to meet our sales targets, the manager said. From where? From where? I am happier today than yesterday. I am happier today than yesterday. My house is smaller than yours. My house is smaller than yours. I am very impressed. I am very impressed. Why do you think that? Why do you think that? When he returns, he will have already gone to bed. When he returns, he will have already gone to bed. He wrote an article on the advantages of learning a second language. He wrote an article on the advantages of learning a second language. I'm getting more patient over time. I'm getting more patient over time. Nobody had their own computer in those days. Nobody had their own computer in those days. Couldn't they catch up a century ago? Couldn't they catch up a century ago? They are students. They are students. He loves to play basketball on weekends. He loves to play basketball on weekends. Doesn't he look at the sunset? Doesn't he look at the sunset? They go to the museum on Sunday. They go to the museum on Sunday. They are pushed annually. They are pushed annually. Can you help me solve this math problem? Can you help me solve this math problem? This is great. This is great. The official usually offers his help. The official usually offers his help. You would exercise every day. You would exercise every day. He's not coming to the party, is he? He's not coming to the party, is he? Was your son a director? Was your son a director? He usually watches TV before dinner. He usually watches TV before dinner. How often do you go for a walk? How often do you go for a walk? Are you a bus driver? Are you a bus driver? Were you sick yesterday? Were you sick yesterday? You shouldn't do engineering every year. You shouldn't do engineering every year. I can't eat seafood. I'm allergic. I can't eat seafood. I'm allergic. How many people attend the meeting exactly? How many people attend the meeting exactly? Bookcase against the wall. Bookcase against the wall. Do we need to do anything? Do we need to do anything? We have to be there in time for the movie. We have to be there in time for the movie. Is his colleague a philosopher? Is his colleague a philosopher? They answer. They answer. Will they invite us to their wedding? Will they invite us to their wedding? Will we be organized in 5 minutes? Will we be organized in 5 minutes? The sun is the brightest star in our solar system. The sun is the brightest star in our solar system. I don't do pottery at noon. I don't do pottery at noon. If it rains, the ground gets wet. If it rains, the ground gets wet. To look, may not take pictures occasionally. May not take pictures occasionally. Write about the definition of mindful eating. Write about the definition of mindful eating. May I not recognize? May I not recognize? Shouldn't it be closer in 2 weeks? Shouldn't it be closer in 2 weeks? Swipe all your other photos while showing only one. Swipe all your other photos while showing only one. Will not benefit at dawn. Will not benefit at dawn. I was a little sick last night. I was a little sick last night. I will take 3 days off. I will take 3 days off. Should I go to school tomorrow? Should I go to school tomorrow? They shouldn't be sheriffs occasionally. They shouldn't be sheriffs occasionally. Can't control it? Can't control it? I have a big project to finish by the end of the week. I have a big project to finish by the end of the week. I'm listening to music. I'm listening to music. What would you like to do? What would you like to do? Must vote occasionally. Must vote occasionally. I want lobster. I want lobster. Do you have connecting flights? Do you have connecting flights? Where are you working today? Where are you working today? Can you tell me where the deli counter is? Can you tell me where the deli counter is? Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. How many people are on the bus? How many people are on the bus? We had the malfunctioning TV repaired by a technician. We had the malfunctioning TV repaired by a technician. We met them on the beach. We met them on the beach. Despite the difficulties, they managed to overcome it together. Despite the difficulties, they managed to overcome it together. The edge of the forest was a great place for birdwatching. The edge of the forest was a great place for birdwatching. I've never experienced such a situation before. I've never experienced such a situation before. Then he didn't. Then he didn't. You must wear a seatbelt while driving. You must wear a seatbelt while driving. She sang a lullaby to her baby. She sang a lullaby to her baby. Is your brother a geologist? Is your brother a geologist? The city council will vote on the proposal tomorrow. The city council will vote on the proposal tomorrow. Tomorrow morning they will have fixed the car. Tomorrow morning they will have fixed the car. Wanna try on the pants? Wanna try on the pants? He has been working on his novel for months. He has been working on his novel for months. Definite. Definite. The sun is shining brightly today. The sun is shining brightly today. Apples are larger than cherries. Apples are larger than cherries. The ability to adapt to change is important. The ability to adapt to change is important. I talked to my boss about my raise. I talked to my boss about my raise. Will I do it 4 centuries later? Will I do it 4 centuries later? In 3 nights you will be a naturalist. In 3 nights you will be a naturalist. Did you read the book before watching the series? Did you read the book before watching the series? Were his grandchildren laundresses? Were his grandchildren laundresses? Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they don't work. We will have a meeting in the morning. We will have a meeting in the morning. These are the famous desserts. These are the famous desserts. They were continuing. They were continuing. I never watch TV. I never watch TV. They will not weld at dusk. They will not weld at dusk. The book was adapted into a movie. The book was adapted into a movie. We did not visit. We did not visit. We are waiting for concert tickets to go on sale. We are waiting for concert tickets to go on sale. Will she dance then? Will she dance then? They had dinner at an upscale restaurant. They had dinner at an upscale restaurant. They wouldn't do real estate right away. They wouldn't do real estate right away. He is the funniest person I know. He is the funniest person I know. I was just wondering about the stain on your shirt. I was just wondering about the stain on your shirt. White color is associated with purity. White color is associated with purity. My niece is a veterinarian. My niece is a veterinarian. The flowers are beautiful. The flowers are beautiful. The team is working hard for the next match. The team is working hard for the next match. Before we get started, let's get to our agenda. Before we get started, let's get to our agenda. The load was too heavy to carry alone. The load was too heavy to carry alone. The cat licked itself clean. The cat licked itself clean. She will buy a new dress for the party. She will buy a new dress for the party. He was a doctor before retiring. He was a doctor before retiring. He was born in the 1980s. He was born in the 1980s. Make your husband pay. Make your husband pay. Can they warn you after 3 hours? Can they warn you after 3 hours? We need to find a case for the new phone. We need to find a case for the new phone. Where do they live? Where do they live? You can usually be an electrician. You can usually be an electrician. Should you surround? Should you surround? We stood in the rain and waited for the bus. We stood in the rain and waited for the bus. You should not gamble if it is illegal in your area. You should not gamble if it is illegal in your area. Where can I find kitchen utensils? Where can I find kitchen utensils? I've never been to some of these places before. I've never been to some of these places before. Can we please keep the noise level low? Can we please keep the noise level low? They tasted the new ice cream flavor. They tasted the new ice cream flavor. His brother-in-law is a joker. His brother-in-law is a joker. If you want we can start. If you want we can start. Do I fill it at dusk? Do I fill it at dusk? Can inquire at noon. Can inquire at noon. We have no finished tickets. We have no finished tickets. Could send annually. Could send annually. The city they visited last summer was New York. The city they visited last summer was New York. I understand. I understand. One, I'm going to the mall. One, I'm going to the mall. I'm going to the bar. I'm going to the bar. He borrowed my pen. He borrowed my pen. Mary and I are going to the concert. Mary and I are going to the concert. You can't have a funeral after 3 days. You can't have a funeral after 3 days. You should exercise regularly for your health. You should exercise regularly for your health. We didn't box at night. We didn't box at night. Can't they be missing after a month? Can't they be missing after a month? Pasta. Pasta. The beach is crowded. The beach is crowded. Have you ever been to Paris? Have you ever been to Paris? Haven't we dreamed often? Haven't we dreamed often? Do you want help? Do you want help? Snowstorm. Snowstorm. How many apples did you buy from the market? How many apples did you buy from the market? Bargain. Bargain. Thanks in advance. Thanks in advance. I need to buy new clothes for the summer. I need to buy new clothes for the summer. Your aunt is a pathologist. Your aunt is a pathologist. You can join us for dinner. You can join us for dinner. Did not refuse the previous one evening. Did not refuse the previous one evening. Will I weld occasionally? Will I weld occasionally? The children were playing in the sand in the park. The children were playing in the sand in the park. Although the exam was difficult, I managed to pass it. Although the exam was difficult, I managed to pass it. He locked himself outside the house. He locked himself outside the house. I went to the bridge yesterday. I went to the bridge yesterday. Could you bring your medical records, please? Could you bring your medical records, please? I want ice cream. I want ice cream. I'll take an X-ray. I'll take an X-ray. Sarah has been taking dance lessons for a year. Sarah has been taking dance lessons for a year. Can you recommend good books to read? Can you recommend good books to read? Were his cousins dietitians? Were his cousins dietitians? Shouldn't he be the judge? Shouldn't he be the judge? I will meet my friends there every day. I will meet my friends there every day. Doesn't he usually butcher? Doesn't he usually butcher? Other plans. Other plans. Your children are lumberjacks. Your children are lumberjacks. Can you help me find the frozen food aisle? Can you help me find the frozen food aisle? Did we order until 1 week ago? Did we order until 1 week ago? How satisfying. How satisfying. He had been writing his novel for months before he finished it. He had been writing his novel for months before he finished it. Can you please lower your voice? Can you please lower your voice? By the time he graduates, he will have already started his internship. By the time he graduates, he will have already started his internship. Can't they touch at noon? Can't they touch at noon? Sorted by priority. Sorted by priority. I'll kiss you if you promise to be a good boy. I'll kiss you if you promise to be a good boy. Tony, I created a ticket for the Jira Scrum board clearance. Tony, I created a ticket for the Jira Scrum board clearance. The electric fireplace creates a cozy atmosphere. The electric fireplace creates a cozy atmosphere. They eat. They eat. Are you a player then? Are you a player then? Your mother was a courier. Your mother was a courier. I understand the concept. I understand the concept. Also, please take a look. Also, please take a look. Extra fit and fair man is my favorite fare. Extra fit and fair man is my favorite fare. He opened the window to let fresh air in. He opened the window to let fresh air in. Were my children linguists? Were my children linguists? I'm going to the store. I'm going to the store. Both of us. Both of us. His half-brothers are ambassadors. His half-brothers are ambassadors. Are you sure about these data? Are you sure about these data? He should have apologized for his mistake. He should have apologized for his mistake. I have visited the museum many times. I have visited the museum many times. This typhoon is worse than last year's typhoon. This typhoon is worse than last year's typhoon. I'm going to give a presentation next week. I'm going to give a presentation next week. I have to go to school. I have to go to school. Metaphor. Metaphor. His brother was a locksmith. His brother was a locksmith. Cake decorated with cream. Cake decorated with cream. Do you have any cooking utensils? Do you have any cooking utensils? Car red. Car red. I'll lend you my umbrella in case it rains. I'll lend you my umbrella in case it rains. Where do you find it? Where do you find it? They were playing basketball in the gym after school. They were playing basketball in the gym after school. I don't have much time. I don't have much time. He found his wallet. He found his wallet. You must not suffer. You must not suffer. I'll be giving a presentation in front of the class next month. I'll be giving a presentation in front of the class next month. How far is it to the nearest bus stop? How far is it to the nearest bus stop? His colleague is an actuary. His colleague is an actuary. He learned to swim. He learned to swim. How many glasses are in the kitchen cabinet? How many glasses are in the kitchen cabinet? I will also work. I will also work. How many pieces of luggage will you have? How many pieces of luggage will you have? Complaint. Complaint. Shouldn't he lie often? Shouldn't he lie often? Let me see. Let me see. He is not an immediate interviewer. He is not an immediate interviewer. Painting work. Painting work. Is there a pharmacy section in the store? Is there a pharmacy section in the store? We admire his determination. We admire his determination. Don't miss out. Don't miss out. Beneath the layers of dirt is a treasure. Beneath the layers of dirt is a treasure. Is her stepdaughter a cop? Is her stepdaughter a cop? My ankle really hurts. My ankle really hurts. Do you sell fresh seafood? Do you sell fresh seafood? Technology excellence. Technology excellence. I wish I had $1 million. I wish I had $1 million. Take food. Take food. Rarely did I save? Rarely did I save? Is our sister a therapist? Is our sister a therapist? Is there any topic? Is there any topic? What kind of toys do you have? What kind of toys do you have? We don't like your prices. We don't like your prices. The company is looking for a new IT manager. The company is looking for a new IT manager. Your neighbor is Docker. Your neighbor is Docker. I'm going to visit my cousin in town. I'm going to visit my cousin in town. Is his colleague a philosopher? Is his colleague a philosopher? Is your nephew a lantern? Is your nephew a lantern? It didn't start 2 years ago. It didn't start 2 years ago. The developer would be 10 years. The developer would be 10 years. I was going to tell you. I was going to tell you. Can't he be a scavenger at sunset? Can't he be a scavenger at sunset? Should not exist. Should not exist. Do you have any suggestions to improve our workflow? Do you have any suggestions to improve our workflow? He's talking on the phone. He's talking on the phone. Can you help me solve this crossword puzzle? Can you help me solve this crossword puzzle? Sensitive. Sensitive. Will you please be quiet? Will you please be quiet? He was watching a movie when he fell asleep. He was watching a movie when he fell asleep. He has to study for the exam. He has to study for the exam. Strengthen teams. Strengthen teams. Rewrite and expand the text below for John. Rewrite and expand the text below for John. After the party we cleaned up and went home. After the party we cleaned up and went home. The city skyline is spectacular at night. The city skyline is spectacular at night. We won't be able to swim until the pool is cleaned. We won't be able to swim until the pool is cleaned. Aren't they a weekly barber? Aren't they a weekly barber? The report was printed for the meeting. The report was printed for the meeting. He works in the field of marketing and develops advertising campaigns. He works in the field of marketing and develops advertising campaigns. My parents bought a new car. My parents bought a new car. Was your spouse a coroner? Was your spouse a coroner? Despite limited resources, they have produced a beautiful piece of art. Despite limited resources, they have produced a beautiful piece of art. Yesterday I ate a duck with a very good and delicious taste. Yesterday I ate a duck with a very good and delicious taste. Is a concern. Is a concern. You can't win weekly. You can't win weekly. She was doing yoga when she heard a loud noise outside. She was doing yoga when she heard a loud noise outside. Talent. Talent. Let us do it. Let us do it. The suitcase is too heavy to carry. The suitcase is too heavy to carry. Your turn. Your turn. Would you like to try our specialty coffee? Would you like to try our specialty coffee? Who's that? Who's that? I have a lot of free time and I don't know what to do. I have a lot of free time and I don't know what to do. I think it's time for me to say goodbye. I think it's time for me to say goodbye. Can you help me with these foods? Can you help me with these foods? I need to buy a new toaster with more slots. I need to buy a new toaster with more slots. The baby is growing and getting stronger. The baby is growing and getting stronger. You are amazing. You are amazing. Imitate. Imitate. Consistency. Consistency. Located on the hill, the house offers a magnificent view. Located on the hill, the house offers a magnificent view. Problems can arise when people do not communicate. Problems can arise when people do not communicate. Can I taste this cheese before I buy it? Can I taste this cheese before I buy it? I only have $8 in my wallet. I only have $8 in my wallet. How can I say this? How can I say this? I was studying when you came home. I was studying when you came home. If they offered me a job, I would accept it. If they offered me a job, I would accept it. The job is below my reputation. The job is below my reputation. He played video games all day. He played video games all day. Shouldn't it be cooked at all? Shouldn't it be cooked at all? I joined. I joined. Doesn't he become a vocalist after 2 weeks? Doesn't he become a vocalist after 2 weeks? Is there a photography section in the store? Is there a photography section in the store? The conference will be held in April. The conference will be held in April. Their daughter was an intensive care specialist. Their daughter was an intensive care specialist. My alarm will go off in an hour. My alarm will go off in an hour. Do you want to ask a question before we start? Do you want to ask a question before we start? Was his half-brother a baker? Was his half-brother a baker? Your mission is a bit silly. Your mission is a bit silly. They swim in the pool every summer. They swim in the pool every summer. Keep it up, Tommy. Keep it up, Tommy. Wouldn't he touch? Wouldn't he touch? I miss you when you are not here. I miss you when you are not here. Usually blogger? Usually blogger? Do we need to do anything about my web address? Do we need to do anything about my web address? Can I always make cream? Can I always make cream? Someone in this room has committed a crime. Someone in this room has committed a crime. Can't we leave? Can't we leave? Your stepson was the second man. Your stepson was the second man. I have been working from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the last 2 years. I have been working from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. for the last 2 years. I actually worked with John as well. I actually worked with John as well. You should always use sunscreen to protect your skin. You should always use sunscreen to protect your skin. Could you please help me with this heavy box? Could you please help me with this heavy box? The bus driver was very friendly. The bus driver was very friendly. Did you finish your homework before playing video games? Did you finish your homework before playing video games? Hasn't he finished his work yet? Hasn't he finished his work yet? Do you have a dream? Do you have a dream? You will love this place. You will love this place. Where can I find laundry detergents? Where can I find laundry detergents? They finished their homework on time. They finished their homework on time. I will stay home this weekend. I will stay home this weekend. He invited me to his party. He invited me to his party. Why do you think? Why do you think? Whose coat is hanging on the chair? Whose coat is hanging on the chair? Doesn't it help? Doesn't it help? My neighbor was a juggler. My neighbor was a juggler. Assumed 3 years ago? Assumed 3 years ago? Despite the difficulties, they never lost their hope. Despite the difficulties, they never lost their hope. When are you going? When are you going? I'm sorry I missed him. I'm sorry I missed him. Is your stepmother a counselor? Is your stepmother a counselor? She is a compassionate caregiver. She is a compassionate caregiver. Shouldn't I be a geographer later? Shouldn't I be a geographer later? We are aware of its importance. We are aware of its importance. Can you lend me a pen, please? Can you lend me a pen, please? The report's findings suggest that social media can have a positive or negative impact on children and adolescents, depending on how it is used. The report's findings suggest that social media can have a positive or negative impact on children and adolescents, depending on how it is used. I taught at noon. I taught at noon. I'm afraid I can't help you. I'm afraid I can't help you. Altogether. Altogether. We lived in the same apartment building for years before we decided to buy a house. We lived in the same apartment building for years before we decided to buy a house. 1 year later? 1 year later? The package was carefully opened. The package was carefully opened. May not heal. May not heal. Does he play the piano? Does he play the piano? You should be more patient with others. You should be more patient with others. The problem was discussed at the meeting. The problem was discussed at the meeting. He wouldn't be a consultant next year. He wouldn't be a consultant next year. Do you want to buy? Do you want to buy? Mary will be aware of this situation. Mary will be aware of this situation. What brought you today? What brought you today? Do you have to give a job? Do you have to give a job? We have breakfast on the weekends. We have breakfast on the weekends. What kind of toys do you like? What kind of toys do you like? How to say hello in English. How to say hello in English. Was I a regular sometimes? Was I a regular sometimes? He always wears a hat to protect himself from the sun. He always wears a hat to protect himself from the sun. They came to Istanbul last week. They came to Istanbul last week. He plays video games all morning. He plays video games all morning. Can you help me find a specific brand of soda? Can you help me find a specific brand of soda? Not wearing. Not wearing. Whose medal is this? Whose medal is this? Can you meet me later? Can you meet me later? Simon, we're going in the wrong direction. Simon, we're going in the wrong direction. By the way, I'm Nick. By the way, I'm Nick. We were looking for a new job. We were looking for a new job. We need to fix this problem before it becomes a bigger problem. We need to fix this problem before it becomes a bigger problem. He likes to meditate to relax. He likes to meditate to relax. My father will come to school for me. My father will come to school for me. And 2 years later we're still roommates. And 2 years later we're still roommates. Do you have a reusable shopping bag? Do you have a reusable shopping bag? I couldn't play the drums occasionally. I couldn't play the drums occasionally. I had to do a few extra push-ups this morning to make up for yesterday. I had to do a few extra push-ups this morning to make up for yesterday. Let's start. Let's start. He will play video games with his friends. He will play video games with his friends. He was able to fix the broken computer. He was able to fix the broken computer. Have you ever been to France? Have you ever been to France? Can make jokes often. Can make jokes often. How many chairs are there? How many chairs are there? I will come to your house in about 20 minutes. I will come to your house in about 20 minutes. I am going to have breakfast. I am going to have breakfast. If I don't catch the next bus, I'll be late. If I don't catch the next bus, I'll be late. Couldn't you have closed it last year? Couldn't you have closed it last year? You will become an economist. You will become an economist. I love the warm weather we have. I love the warm weather we have. Is our stepmother a pie player? Is our stepmother a pie player? He leaves for London in 3 days. He leaves for London in 3 days. I was going to the market. I was going to the market. My mother-in-law was an acrobat. My mother-in-law was an acrobat. We traveled to a different country. We traveled to a different country. One afternoon at sea? One afternoon at sea? They can finish the project ahead of schedule. They can finish the project ahead of schedule. I want to learn to play the piano, he said. I want to learn to play the piano, he said. If I knew the answer, I could have won the game. If I knew the answer, I could have won the game. Despite his age, he is still very active and energetic. Despite his age, he is still very active and energetic. You should eat at night. You should eat at night. What's the problem? What's the problem? Was his half-sister a guard? Was his half-sister a guard? Is our grandmother a clown? Is our grandmother a clown? We don't agree now. We don't agree now. Will I collect? Will I collect? Can I borrow your pen? Can I borrow your pen? It was very cold last winter. It was very cold last winter. We couldn't be a monthly songwriter. We couldn't be a monthly songwriter. We have to abide by the rules set by the state. We have to abide by the rules set by the state. We need to clean our room. We need to clean our room. Doesn't it quote after 5 seconds? Doesn't it quote after 5 seconds? They were great successes. They were great successes. Since when do you like basketball? Since when do you like basketball? I've been studying for 2 hours. I've been studying for 2 hours. The cat was chasing the mouse. The cat was chasing the mouse. Had he added? Had he added? The email was sent by my boss. The email was sent by my boss. We are a doctor. We are a doctor. What do you think about removing carbon? What do you think about removing carbon? I'm in the room at the end of the hallway. I'm in the room at the end of the hallway. Did we impress? Did we impress? Can I have the menu, please? Can I have the menu, please? Were they doctors of the year? Were they doctors of the year? Here is my ex-husband. Here is my ex-husband. Is it acceptable to ask for money as a wedding gift? Is it acceptable to ask for money as a wedding gift? They can always be the second man. They can always be the second man. I've seen that movie. I've seen that movie. Maybe appropriate. Maybe appropriate. He decided to take a photography course. He decided to take a photography course. Your grandfather is a mechanic. Your grandfather is a mechanic. I am available. I am available. Should not see. Should not see. How did you get it? How did you get it? He caught himself daydreaming during class. He caught himself daydreaming during class. Boiled green beans. Boiled green beans. To earn money. To earn money. I will be available after 13. I will be available after 13. Was his nephew the gardener? Was his nephew the gardener? She is practicing her singing skills. She is practicing her singing skills. He can play the guitar very well. He can play the guitar very well. I'm going to primary school. I'm going to primary school. He couldn't be a songwriter 3 nights ago. He couldn't be a songwriter 3 nights ago. Can you meet at noon? Can you meet at noon? Was it yearly? Was it yearly? Will they be able to finalize it? Will they be able to finalize it? Are you drinking after 5 hours? Are you drinking after 5 hours? Stubborn. Stubborn. Plan. Plan. Should he blame 10 years? Should he blame 10 years? Take matters into your own hands. Take matters into your own hands. The building was destroyed in the earthquake. The building was destroyed in the earthquake. Can you tell me the time, please? Can you tell me the time, please? They can dance very well. They can dance very well. Your friend was the mayor. Your friend was the mayor. Can I limit? Can I limit? Shouldn't he be the minister in 5 days? Shouldn't he be the minister in 5 days? They can always serve. They can always serve. Should not normally be a trainer. Should not normally be a trainer. Was to do. Was to do. He works as a doctor. He works as a doctor. Since when do you like basketball? Since when do you like basketball? Can you pass me the vacuum cleaner? Can you pass me the vacuum cleaner? I want to be able to speak fluently. I want to be able to speak fluently. Can't you make that much noise? I'm trying to concentrate. Can't you make that much noise? I'm trying to concentrate. Would they destroy? Would they destroy? He is studying to become a doctor. He is studying to become a doctor. She is a yearly fashion designer. She is a yearly fashion designer. Can I have your email address, please? Can I have your email address, please? Are our brothers florists? Are our brothers florists? The champion was very tired. The champion was very tired. Don't be late for class. Don't be late for class. Why did you quit your job? Because I found a better opportunity. Why did you quit your job? Because I found a better opportunity. Should we not organize? Should we not organize? Are their neighbors a gynecologist? Are their neighbors a gynecologist? Have we rented a quiet apartment? Have we rented a quiet apartment? I have a lot of patience. I have a lot of patience. They read books in their spare time. They read books in their spare time. Can't they teach at sunset? Can't they teach at sunset? Was their mother a rapper? Was their mother a rapper? Email received yesterday. Email received yesterday. I write emails to my friends. I write emails to my friends. They seldom walked. They seldom walked. They do not recommend weekly. They do not recommend weekly. He has a unique ability. He has a unique ability. It was a huge success. It was a huge success. He usually reads before going to bed. He usually reads before going to bed. There are some books on the shelf if you're interested. There are some books on the shelf if you're interested. We had dinner at about 7. We had dinner at about 7. Was it working before? Was it working before? I rarely listen. I rarely listen. We will continue to create more documents. We will continue to create more documents. Didn't they appear a month ago? Didn't they appear a month ago? I've already seen the sunset. I've already seen the sunset. I don't notice anything special about the case here. I don't notice anything special about the case here. Will we rise? Will we rise? Sometimes you just can't survive. Sometimes you just can't survive. Did they finish their work before going into the game? Did they finish their work before going into the game? You don't have to worry about that. Everything will be fine. You don't have to worry about that. Everything will be fine. My sister is on the phone. My sister is on the phone. I was so stupid that I closed my sky. I was so stupid that I closed my sky. Self. Self. Not happy with the results, right? Not happy with the results, right? We are contacting you. We are contacting you. My brother was a consultant. My brother was a consultant. It's important to be patient. It's important to be patient. Are their nephews entrepreneurs? Are their nephews entrepreneurs? If he calls me, I will answer the phone. If he calls me, I will answer the phone. My favorite food is menemen. My favorite food is menemen. I should mention 10 years. I should mention 10 years. Impatient. Impatient. They would win. They would win. We are planning to visit Paris next summer. We are planning to visit Paris next summer. What is the capital of the United States of America? What is the capital of the United States of America? Always be prepared for the unexpected. Always be prepared for the unexpected. He does not teach. He does not teach. They do not speak German. They do not speak German. The child is less than 5 years old. The child is less than 5 years old. We will watch the game in the sports bar. We will watch the game in the sports bar. We don't have a swimming pool. We don't have a swimming pool. Now what is this road sign? Now what is this road sign? His friends were singers. His friends were singers. The smell of the flowers blooming in the garden was beautiful. The smell of the flowers blooming in the garden was beautiful. I mean, he's a famous actor. I mean, he's a famous actor. He didn't do clowns often. He didn't do clowns often. I wish I could remember where I put my keys. I wish I could remember where I put my keys. He said, I'm going to the market. He said, I'm going to the market. It can burn. It can burn. Were my parents monks? Were my parents monks? Can I have some water, please? Can I have some water, please? Although time-consuming, reading is a great habit. Although time-consuming, reading is a great habit. The state reopened the road. The state reopened the road. We are watching a movie. We are watching a movie. The surgery seems successful. The surgery seems successful. Is his friend a controller? Is his friend a controller? As you know, we have a competition every week. As you know, we have a competition every week. The weather is expected to be sunny throughout the week. The weather is expected to be sunny throughout the week. He planted flowers in the garden. He planted flowers in the garden. I liked the hairstyle. I liked the hairstyle. Was I in intensive care last year? Was I in intensive care last year? They will work in their garden at the weekend. They will work in their garden at the weekend. I am an intensive care specialist every day. I am an intensive care specialist every day. He did not study for the exam and failed as a result. He did not study for the exam and failed as a result. Should it force 2 weeks later? Should it force 2 weeks later? If it's cold, I won't go out. If it's cold, I won't go out. Can you talk about 1 month later? Can you talk about 1 month later? Could the aviator be 10 years? Could the aviator be 10 years? Can you deal with it in the afternoon? Can you deal with it in the afternoon? To influence. To influence. Will I fly every week? Will I fly every week? We await your response. We await your response. We are aware of this. We are aware of this. I have no idea where he went. I have no idea where he went. Can't it burn next year? Can't it burn next year? He needs to prepare a presentation for the meeting. He needs to prepare a presentation for the meeting. You and I will be apart. You and I will be apart. We can upload it in 1 minute. We can upload it in 1 minute. What do you eat? What do you eat? Please, just let me explain. Please, just let me explain. He had already prepared dinner when I got home. He had already prepared dinner when I got home. There is no food in the refrigerator. There is no food in the refrigerator. The gun is usually oiled by the officer. The gun is usually oiled by the officer. He watched a documentary about wild animals. He watched a documentary about wild animals. Can you help me with these foods? Can you help me with these foods? Are there any loyalty rewards? Are there any loyalty rewards? I run fast. I run fast. He's going to visit his grandparents next weekend. He's going to visit his grandparents next weekend. Autonomy. Autonomy. Could they be innkeepers later? Could they be innkeepers later? He would rather drink tea than coffee. He would rather drink tea than coffee. Cannot announce after 5 seconds. Cannot announce after 5 seconds. Rarely a lieutenant. Rarely a lieutenant. Next month we will do a photo shoot for our website. Next month we will do a photo shoot for our website. The dog is too big to fit in the basket. The dog is too big to fit in the basket. He goes to the library once a week. He goes to the library once a week. What a delicious dessert. What a delicious dessert. Change. Change. We are playing cards. We are playing cards. Children are playing outside. Children are playing outside. When will we meet? When will we meet? I don't remember the password of the email account. I don't remember the password of the email account. Was his uncle a doctor? Was his uncle a doctor? He couldn't get it out. He couldn't get it out. My aunt was the manager. My aunt was the manager. A page is missing. A page is missing. He was able to notice it in the previous 3 evenings. He was able to notice it in the previous 3 evenings. We watch movies on Fridays. We watch movies on Fridays. The company will launch a new product next year. The company will launch a new product next year. Our brother is an apprentice. Our brother is an apprentice. You should turn off the lights when you leave the room. You should turn off the lights when you leave the room. Can you help me find a good book to read? Can you help me find a good book to read? To invent. To invent. We must respect our elders. We must respect our elders. I tie the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. I tie the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. His grandfather is the dean. His grandfather is the dean. We visited our grandparents at the weekend. We visited our grandparents at the weekend. They will thank. They will thank. Do we have a red bag? Do we have a red bag? Always announces. Always announces. He likes to watch comedy movies. He likes to watch comedy movies. You watch movies on Friday evenings. You watch movies on Friday evenings. Wasn't I using? Wasn't I using? You should sleep at sunset. You should sleep at sunset. He wasn't a filmmaker at noon. He wasn't a filmmaker at noon. After 3 months, you can go to the doctor. After 3 months, you can go to the doctor. Can it be successful? Can it be successful? I think we should delegate this task to someone else. I think we should delegate this task to someone else. I play football with my friends. I play football with my friends. Your grandfather was a football player. Your grandfather was a football player. I prefer old movies to new ones. I prefer old movies to new ones. Are your children masseuses? Are your children masseuses? It will make cream after 1 second. It will make cream after 1 second. If I were a scientist, I would find a cure for a disease. If I were a scientist, I would find a cure for a disease. They can develop. They can develop. Would you warn? Would you warn? What a beautiful sunset. What a beautiful sunset. The train left the station on time. The train left the station on time. Have you finished your meal? Have you finished your meal? He can box every week. He can box every week. I'm too lazy to walk all the way to the lake. I'm too lazy to walk all the way to the lake. There is a small garden behind the building. There is a small garden behind the building. You're not going to do research every day. You're not going to do research every day. They were not prepared for the meeting and felt unprepared as a result. They were not prepared for the meeting and felt unprepared as a result. It will not be renewed after 4 centuries. It will not be renewed after 4 centuries. Can't I analyze at sunset? Can't I analyze at sunset? Didn't you rest for a month? Didn't you rest for a month? For I am in the room with the toys. For I am in the room with the toys. Sentences used daily in English. Sentences used daily in English. I'm going to the library to buy a new book. I'm going to the library to buy a new book. Also, don't forget to bring snacks for the trip. Also, don't forget to bring snacks for the trip. Can you burn? Can you burn? My throat hurts, he told me. My throat hurts, he told me. Had they finished their work before the deadline? Had they finished their work before the deadline? We had already booked the hotel room before we left for vacation. We had already booked the hotel room before we left for vacation. Do they become acrobats at dusk? Do they become acrobats at dusk? We don't want to be late. We don't want to be late. They will have completed their research by the end of the month. They will have completed their research by the end of the month. I told you everything about me. I told you everything about me. I'm taking 2 weeks. I'm taking 2 weeks. I'm going to the bowling alley. I'm going to the bowling alley. He is managing. He is managing. The book has been translated into many languages. The book has been translated into many languages. He rarely watches movies. He rarely watches movies. We must overcome. We must overcome. He writes in his diary every day. He writes in his diary every day. It's getting dark outside. It's getting dark outside. The company recorded significant growth last year. The company recorded significant growth last year. Once I got lost in the city and had to ask directions. Once I got lost in the city and had to ask directions. It's not important. It's not important. He likes to go to the gym to exercise. He likes to go to the gym to exercise. He is next to you. He is next to you. Relatives are inspectors. Relatives are inspectors. He is a strong athlete. He is a strong athlete. Is her stepdad a taxi driver? Is her stepdad a taxi driver? Where can I find the snack aisle? Where can I find the snack aisle? Don't we focus? Don't we focus? Were his children journalists? Were his children journalists? He did not assume occasionally. He did not assume occasionally. John, do you have scissors? John, do you have scissors? You shouldn't look back. You shouldn't look back. I'm going to the museum this weekend. I'm going to the museum this weekend. I can leave you if you want. I can leave you if you want. Did you come every day? Did you come every day? Maybe Tommy or John would like to say something. Maybe Tommy or John would like to say something. Avalanche. Avalanche. Must play. Must play. We were waiting for the concert to start. We were waiting for the concert to start. Bullet. Bullet. Usually can't bartender. Usually can't bartender. He told me, I have a dentist appointment. He told me, I have a dentist appointment. How much will it take? How much will it take? Obligation. Obligation. You must attend all classes to pass the class, said the professor. You must attend all classes to pass the class, said the professor. Was our friend an actor? Was our friend an actor? I'm on a diet so I can't eat it. I'm on a diet so I can't eat it. Will the noon challenge? Will the noon challenge? By the time he arrives at the station, he will have already boarded the train. By the time he arrives at the station, he will have already boarded the train. Will you join the party? Will you join the party? They were listening to the radio. They were listening to the radio. I shouldn't eat too much chocolate. It's not good for my health. I shouldn't eat too much chocolate. It's not good for my health. I bought new running shoes to participate in a marathon. I bought new running shoes to participate in a marathon. They had been married for 25 years before they decided to renew their vows. They had been married for 25 years before they decided to renew their vows. What letter is this? What letter is this? Am I not tempted a century later? Am I not tempted a century later? You should listen to your parents. You should listen to your parents. I will see you. I will see you. I ate it before I came home. I ate it before I came home. I will never give up on my dreams no matter how hard it is. I will never give up on my dreams no matter how hard it is. It's a rainy day. It's a rainy day. He had his house cleaned by a professional cleaner. He had his house cleaned by a professional cleaner. Aren't we going to reply every month? Aren't we going to reply every month? Our son was a sociologist. Our son was a sociologist. There. We want to visit the museum tomorrow. We want to visit the museum tomorrow. They were playing cards at the table. They were playing cards at the table. Can you help me find the campus security office? Can you help me find the campus security office? I wish I had a better relationship with my siblings. I wish I had a better relationship with my siblings. I have never tried bungee jumping. I have never tried bungee jumping. Her brother-in-law is a psychiatrist. Her brother-in-law is a psychiatrist. The baby is babbling and making funny noises. The baby is babbling and making funny noises. He had never seen Ankara before. He had never seen Ankara before. Shouldn't it be borrowed? Shouldn't it be borrowed? What's the result? What's the result? The dog barks loudly. The dog barks loudly. They have lived in this neighborhood for years. They have lived in this neighborhood for years. We were washing. We were washing. There may not be a courier at dusk. There may not be a courier at dusk. Is his brother a geographer? Is his brother a geographer? The coffee is hot. The coffee is hot. Your aunt is an astronomer. Your aunt is an astronomer. I often manage. I often manage. He starts his English lessons next week. He starts his English lessons next week. The issue discussed at the meeting required careful handling. The issue discussed at the meeting required careful handling. Can it be doctor? Can it be doctor? He is managing. He is managing. I can't advertise after 4 minutes. I can't advertise after 4 minutes. Even if you fail once, don't give up and keep trying. Even if you fail once, don't give up and keep trying. First I need to finish this project. I can take a break after that. First I need to finish this project. I can take a break after that. Passive voice. Passive voice. Do you agree? Do you agree? I have a dentist appointment at 10 and will be back at 12. I have a dentist appointment at 10 and will be back at 12. They play basketball on the weekends. They play basketball on the weekends. You should give. You should give. If he doesn't understand, explain again. If he doesn't understand, explain again. She wouldn't cry for a week. She wouldn't cry for a week. Normally shepherd. Normally shepherd. Normally not going forward. Normally not going forward. Were they taking? Were they taking? We went sailing on the lake. We went sailing on the lake. I don't destroy every day. I don't destroy every day. I shouldn't have brought a baby like that into your life. I shouldn't have brought a baby like that into your life. Will I be a scavenger next year? Will I be a scavenger next year? The package was opened by the buyer. The package was opened by the buyer. Cake. Cake. Our friends started to read the onboarding documents. Our friends started to read the onboarding documents. How often do you cook at home? How often do you cook at home? Can I get your help? Can I get your help? Did you forget? Did you forget? We won't be female cops every month. We won't be female cops every month. I'm not sure I want to believe you. I'm not sure I want to believe you. If I had known you were coming, I would have made a cake. If I had known you were coming, I would have made a cake. Why will they? Why will they? If you don't understand something, ask for help. If you don't understand something, ask for help. Should not imply twilight. Should not imply twilight. Where are we meeting? Where are we meeting? Although the exam was difficult, I managed to pass it. Although the exam was difficult, I managed to pass it. It connects. It connects. Can't lift it from time to time? Can't lift it from time to time? Will you stay for dessert? Will you stay for dessert? The car is parked in front of the house. The car is parked in front of the house. The decision was influenced by the manager. The decision was influenced by the manager. We must overcome. We must overcome. Despite the criticism, she was confident in her abilities. Despite the criticism, she was confident in her abilities. The child is less than 5 years old. The child is less than 5 years old. It's a big place. It's a big place.